Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the full review for the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. And I've now used this smartphone on and off for almost 2 months, and I keep putting my primary SIM, that is the Airtel SIM, back in this smartphone. So I have used it for about almost 2 months. Did even overseas travel and traveled to different cities in India, and overall I would say it's a very positive experience. But again, like my typical reviews, I'll divide it between the pros and cons. And overall I would say in terms of network connectivity, I did not have any issues with this phone. In fact, if you see, still my Airtel SIM is in this one. And regarding the 5G experience also, I had actually pretty good 5G experience with this smartphone, and I've been getting actually pretty good speeds, even 5G. This area is slightly outskirts of the city. Then also I was getting pretty good speeds. As you can see, results, as you can see, this is the 5G that I'm getting in this area, about 300, between 3 and 400. Sometimes it goes to even 600, and I've seen 5G speed, as you can see, as high as 975 also on this one. So at least here in Hyderabad, the 5G speeds are running very well. But one thing you notice that if you do these 5G test on your smartphone, it consumes a lot of data. Thankfully, Airtel has launched this introductory offer of 5G unlimited, and I opted for that. That's why I'm just doing 5G tests everywhere I go. So if you have a Airtel SIM for this 5G introductory offer, go to the Airtel Thanks app and see if you have that 5G unlimited, and if it's there, enroll that. Anyways, coming back to this device, overall I would say it's pretty good. And here are the specs. I'm just taking from my unboxing video. Also watch my unboxing video to get a general gist of this device. Okay, let's divide it into the pros and cons. The first thing that I like with this smartphone is the screen. This is having a big 6.8-inch screen, and like most Samsung flagships, here also the screen quality is gorgeous on this one. This is adaptive, so it automatically changes the refresh rate, and its actually max is 120. And overall I would say it's very fluid within the UI. I did not notice any animation drops or frame drops while I was using this phone. So that way it is very butter smooth. Though we have now seen phones sporting 144 Hz or even 165, but here 120 is very smooth, and it doesn't have that animation drops or anything. And overall also in terms of the screen quality is really good. Even in outdoors, if you're using this phone in direct sunlight, it's easily visible. It goes up to 1750 nits. So that way, in terms of screen quality, it's very good. Another thing that I liked on this smartphone, and I experienced it, is that both the back glass as well as the front glass is having the latest Gorilla Glass Victus 2. And for some reason, I've noticed that this Gorilla Glass Victus 2 is only there on the Samsung flagships. It's not coming on other Android flagships. And I have to say it's pretty durable, because in the last 2 months of usage, accidentally this phone fell, and once it was a very bad fall. I thought ab to gaya yaar. But thankfully, if you look at it, nothing has happened. So that way I would say in terms of durability also, there is an improvement. So if it accidentally falls or something, it should actually survive. Very good chance nothing should happen to this device. Next thing is that I like about this smartphone is the One UI. Now One UI has been being refined for the last couple of years. Now it's super refined, I would say. If you're a Samsung user, all the familiar toggles and everything is there, but now it has become very refined, I would say. And again, memory management, the smoothness is very good on this one. In fact, I would say in the past 2 months of usage, I was trying to find out major bugs with this device, but I have to say in terms of optimization, they have done a very good job. So that way I would say the memory management and everything was done very good on this device. So again, I can say One UI has now become one of the best Android skins, and I like the fact that this comes out of the box with Android 13, and Samsung has promised next 4 years of Android upgrades to this one, so it can go up to Android 17 and 5 years of security upgrade. So that way it's pretty good, and I feel Samsung is doing a good job here, because if you recall, I had done a review of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra after the Android update. I'll link it up if you guys want that video. It has actually improved with Android 13. So I'm hoping the same thing even with this one. With future upgrades, as this is a flagship, Samsung will continue to actually provide good updates on this smartphone. One thing I do not like, yes, this can come in the con section, is that still we do have a lot of Samsung preloaded apps on this one, so that can be a little bit confusing to new users. But if you are already a Samsung user, you are used to this. Again, yes, you have Bixby and all those things. I disabled it, I don't use it, but again, all those things are still there on this smartphone. But again, that did not detract from the performance or it make the phone laggy. That way I would say the optimizations were done very well. Coming to the call quality, cellular reception, this is very important if you are a sort of business-centric user. I don't know about you guys, but I take still a lot of calls just like this normally, and I did not have any issues of proximity sensor issues. The earpiece was loud and clear, and in fact, even in reception, the reception was actually pretty good on this smartphone. In fact, I used it with both Jio as well as Airtel. That's my primary SIM, and in both of them, I had very good network reception, and the call quality was very good. I also tested it with a bunch of TWSs and stuff. I keep testing new TWSs and all those things. And there also on Bluetooth, I did not have any info. In fact, it's so funny. If you look at the Bluetooth list, if I switch this on, this will show. As you can see, so many devices I tested this one, so many Bluetooth devices. So the Bluetooth connectivity is also very good on this smartphone. Also, if you take calls via the speakerphone, the speakerphones are actually pretty loud. In fact, I would say in terms of speaker, there is a noticeable improvement compared to the S22 Ultra on this one. That way it has got sorted. Also, the Wi-Fi connection, I did not have any issues with this one. Okay, moving to the next thing, and that is regarding the processor on this one. And here I again have to say the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is a gem of a processor, and in these new Samsung S23 series, Samsung is using a customized version of this one that's slightly overclocked compared to the regular version. And I have to say this one is a brilliant chip. I was actually pretty much worried how will be the performance of this chip, because this is slightly overclocked compared to the regular Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and I was worried a lot about heating issues or anything like that. But I'm happy to say that this smartphone simply does not have any heating issues compared to some of the prior Android flagships that we have seen. So that way it's very good. The only place where I could heat up this phone was that I was outdoors in the hot sun, and I was taking a video call there, and in there only I felt that the phone was getting pretty warm. Apart from that, none. But again, in those situations, almost every phone in direct sunlight, if you're taking a video call, most of the phones get heated up. That's the only case where I noticed the heating. In regular usage, this smartphone simply does not heat. So that way I would say in terms of performance, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 used on this one is a gem of a processor. In fact, I have to say because of this S23 series are among one of the best Android flagships that Samsung have produced in quite a while, and that's simply because one of the main reasons is due to this processor. Also, because of this processor, the battery life that I'm getting on this phone is phenomenal. Again, I was worried because it's overclocked processor, how would be the battery life? But I have to say, in the past 2 months, battery life was never an issue on this one. In fact, on even heavy days when I traveled overseas, from morning 7 o'clock we were out and were coming back at 8 o'clock at night, always on mobile data on international roaming. There also, the battery life never dipped below 30%. That good is the battery life. Yes, charging, I'll talk about that in the cons. And let me give you an idea. Now that the battery life has become so good, I generally do not charge this phone every day at night. Let me give you an idea how I use, because I just want to give my practical usage experience in this review, how I'm using this smartphone. So let me just dwell down. If we go down to the stats, okay, here it is, the battery and all those things. And if I click on this, let's look at this usage since last charge. And if you notice, I'm having just micro charges. I'm not having that full charge. And this is because when I'm going to my other office, there is a wireless charger in my car. So I just put it there. And that's how I'm actually just charging, if you notice. I'm not putting it regularly on charge. Then also, if you look at it, if I go to the view details, This was charged one day 14 hours ago. Yes, we had those micro charges because while I was traveling the car, I just put it on the wireless charger. Then also we had about 4 hours 36 minutes of screen on time. Screen off time one day 9 hours, and still I'm having 73% battery life. I would easily say that in terms of battery life, this is one of the best that I've seen for a Samsung flagship. In fact, one of the best I've seen for Android flagship with a 5000 milliamp hour battery. In fact, if I have to compare the battery life with the S22 Ultra, this smartphone feels like it is having a battery capacity of 6500 milliamp hour. So that way I would say the battery life is phenomenal on this one. The idle drain is also pretty low on this one. So at night also, if you just leave it, it just does not drain that much. So that way I'm pretty happy with the battery life on this one. So that's not a worry at all. Also coming to the fingerprint scanner, if you notice, this is an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner and this has been super reliable. So, and in fact, these ultrasonic fingerprint scanners are more reliable than just the optical fingerprint scanner. That's the reason you don't find it, and it's actually a lot more expensive to implement. That's why you do not find it on many of the other Android flagship. This is actually a lot more secure. Moving to the next thing, and I think so many of you actually are going to buy this smartphone because of what we have on the back. That is the camera. The Ultras are having the best camera setup among Samsung flagships, and that's the same case with this one. Here Samsung went with the new 200 megapixel sensor. I'm not gung-ho about it. I've been actually using it in the pixel bin mode that shoots in 12 megapixel. Yes, sometimes I went to the 50 megapixel mode, but hardly went to the 200 megapixel mode because the image sizes are just too big. And I have to say the camera performance is actually really good. Here are some of the sample shots that I have taken with this smartphone, and again, as you can see, even in tricky lighting situation, indoor lighting situation where the lighting is mixed in something, then also it performed very well. Also coming to difficult low lighting conditions, here also I feel this camera performance is again top notch. It's very good. The only nitpicking that I have here is that sometimes in very low lighting conditions, the picture that you take comes out a lot brighter than what it's in reality. But this is the issue that I'm seeing with a lot of flagships. So if in a nutshell, the camera performance is very good, and you also have that 3x zoom and that 10x lossless zoom, which works pretty well. So if I am a person who hardly use that higher zooms, and you can even go up to 30x zoom, that is the digital zoom, without much loss of picture. So if you are looking for that zoom stuff, definitely this is one of the best that's out there. I generally do not use that higher zooms that much. Most of the snaps that I take were in the regular mode as well as in the 3x zoom so overall I would say the picture quality that you get was very good. Even the portraits, I like that the cutout, the background cutout was actually a lot improved on this one, and I think so that is due to the new ISP that is there with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. The ISP is fabulous. One area I feel there is improvement in camera is that, and I was hoping for this one, is in terms of video. I feel now the video quality has certainly improved a little bit. And in fact, during the past 2 months, I have actually taken some shots, quick shots or whatever, when I didn't have my big cameras like this with this smartphone, and if I've included that in the video, and nobody complained. So that way I would say the video performance is very good. Yes, it can shoot even in 8K video. I didn't shoot in 8K. I'm using it in 4K and it works. Another thing that I like is that the front facing camera can shoot 4K video, and I use this a lot. For some reason, I don't know, other Android flagships simply are not shooting 4K video with the front facing camera. But here, if you're a blogger or something and shoot videos like that, 4K video is important, and you have this covered. And the video quality, as you can see, that comes out with the front facing camera is pretty good. So overall I would say in terms of camera performance, I'm very happy with this. This camera did not disappoint me, or I felt lacking. That is the answer. So these were the great things about this smartphone. Now let's move to some of the cons and some of the yes, there is also this S Pen. I completely forgot. So if you are that S Pen user, you have that S Pen functionality on this one. I am not a big S Pen user, but yeah, that S Pen functionality is there. And now let's move to the cons. And one of the first con that I have with this device is because of this S Pen. And if you notice, this S Pen over here takes up quite a bit of width in this smartphone, this silo. So that way I would say this phone is this much actually wider compared to many of the Android smartphones that are having a 6.7 or a 6.8 inch screen. So definitely I would say this is one of the widest smartphone that I have used, and if your hands are small then it can be a issue. So that is one shortcoming that I have with this phone. This phone is unnecessarily wide because of this S Pen. That silo is taking the space, so they had to increase. In fact, this is the widest compared to any other Android smartphone that is having a 6.8 inch screen. So I personally don't like it, but again, if you're an S Pen user, you will appreciate that extra width on this one. Next thing is that, and this has reduced a lot, but I have to mention about this one. Initially when I got this smartphone, I don't know, for a month or something, I did notice that sometimes that shutter lag was there. But now if you notice, I don't know when this got fixed, but now I hardly notice that shutter lag. So I think that this was fixed in one of the updates. I just don't recall which one, but now I hardly notice that shutter lag even at night. Sometimes at night it used to happen a lot, but now it's not happening. The thing that I do not like with this smartphone, and that is regarding the charging speed. Yes, you don't get the charger in the box. They should actually give the 45-watt charger in the box. But the charging speeds, if I compare it with other Android flagships, is significantly. So don't get me, it's not a deal breaker with that 45-watt charger. Just above 1 hour, I think so, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 1 hour, 6 minutes, it will charge fully. But again, I miss the fact that many of the new Android flagships from other manufacturers are having super fast charging, and you can fully charge those smartphones in less than 25 minutes. I'm not asking Samsung to go crazy in charger like putting a 120 watt charger or a 200 watt charger, but upping this charging speeds to about 70 watts, 75 watts or something like that, so that at least you can get a 50% full charge in just 15 minutes. I feel that can be a game changer, because this is a smartphone that is going to be used for business centric people. And let's say you forgot to charge or something and you have to head out, a quick 15-minute charge, if it charges more than 50-60%, will be really appreciated. So still I would say this is a smartphone that you have to plug it at night. With some of the other smartphones that I was reviewing in middle of this one, like the Xiaomi 13 Pro, or even the OnePlus 11, those actually spoiled me. Just in the morning before going to shower or something, I used to just plug them up for about 20 minutes and they were almost fully charged. That's not the case with this one. So I feel it's high time now Samsung ups the charging game. Because of this S Pen, this smartphone has to have additional hardware. In fact, the touch digitizer is having a Qualcomm layer that adds to the cost or everything, and this S Pen functionality or everything they have to add. But if you are not an S Pen user, with this Ultra, you are paying unnecessarily for the S Pen functionality. So I feel they should have continued a Note lineup or a separate version for S Pen. That way they could have reduced the price a little bit, and also the phone would have been a lot more, not this wide, I would say. Definitely this is not a one-handed phone, guys. This is a two-handed phone. So that is my peep bet. Again, if you want the best S series smartphone from Samsung, you have to go with the Ultra. And though you use the S Pen or not, this is stuck with you. I have just used the S Pen just about twice in the past 2 months to just sign some stuff on the go. Apart from that, I do not use the S Pen functionality. But I know if you are an S Pen user, but I've asked so many people who are using this smartphone, and majority of them, 95% of them, they say they don't care about the S Pen functionality. Now coming to the pricing in India, this is also something that I do not like. If I recall, the S22 Ultra was for 1,09,000 or 1,10,000, but this one is closer to 1,25,000. So there is a price bump of about 15,000 rupees, which is a lot bigger price jump compared to what the Ultra's price jump was in other countries. So I feel there Samsung India didn't do a good job. I noticed that still, if you're buying this smartphone, there are some credit card offers or something. If you buy it, you get 8,000 off or whatever, and it's been continuing now. I don't get it why. Why couldn't they have just priced it around 1,15,000 or something like that instead of that 1,25,000 and now giving discount with this card or that card? So certainly I would say a pretty expensive smartphone. But again, if I have to conclude, this is one of the best Android flagships that I have used. The performance was consistent, it was super reliable, never had any issues. So in fact, due to these stuff that I'm noticing on the smartphone, I have actually recommended this smartphone to my friends and families and some business users, and after they got them, they are very happy with this smartphone. So if you are that kind of a user and if you have that budget, certainly it's an expensive smartphone, I can easily recommend this smartphone to you. Anyways guys, that was my review of the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. What do you guys feel about this smartphone? If you're using the same, would love to know your thoughts. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.